You brew your coffee, dark roast, strong. You add 1 clove, whole, uncracked. You stir it once, let it sit, then drink. But maybe you know this feeling? Minutes later, your hands start trembling slightly. Your heart rate picks up. Not panic, just this low hum of nervousness that sits right under your ribs. You try to focus, but your thoughts scatter. The energy you wanted, it's there, but it feels jagged, uneven. This is how your body can react to coffee when it hits your system too fast. But here's what almost nobody knows. If you prepare that single clove differently, just one small step, you change what happens inside your body within the first 10 minutes. Not over hours, not eventually. Within 10 minutes after you drink it. I'm not talking about flavor. I'm talking about what happens at the level of your gut, your bloodstream, your nerve cells. The parts you can't see but absolutely feel. And the reason most people miss this? They add the clove whole. They think clove in coffee is one thing. It's not. There's a 1-second step that makes the difference between a clove sitting in your cup doing almost nothing and a clove that starts changing the way caffeine moves through your body before you even feel the first jolt. We're going to break down what actually happens, minute by minute, inside your body when you do this right. And at the end, I'll show you the exact preparation, because without that, none of this works. Let's start with what's really going on when you drink coffee. Coffee works like this. It pushes your system forward before your body's ready. It blocks the receptors in your brain that normally signal tiredness. So your brain speeds up, your adrenal glands start pumping stress hormones into your blood, and for a while you feel awake, alert. But your body hasn't actually created new energy, it's just borrowing from what's coming later. And when that borrowed energy runs out, you feel the drop, the crash, the jittery hands, the scattered focus. Now here's where the clove comes in. Inside a single clove, there's a compound called eugenol. It makes up about 85% of clove oil, and it's one of the most concentrated active compounds in any plant you can buy at a grocery store. But eugenol doesn't just sit there. It influences the same systems that caffeine targets. When eugenol enters your bloodstream, it appears to interact with receptors that regulate how your nervous system responds to stimulation. Think of it this way. Caffeine is pushing the gas pedal. Eugenol isn't hitting the brakes, but it seems to smooth out the ride. It modulates the intensity of caffeine uptake. Research has also shown that eugenol affects gut signaling. Your gut has more nerve endings than your spinal cord, and it's constantly sending information up to your brain about what's happening down there. When eugenol reaches those nerve clusters, it appears to dampen the kind of overstimulation that makes your stomach churn or your heart race after strong coffee. But here's the critical part. Eugenol only does this if it's released properly. If the clove stays whole, most of that compound stays locked inside the clove's cell walls. It floats in your cup. It doesn't dissolve. It doesn't enter your system in meaningful amounts. That 1-second step I mentioned, that's what breaks those cell walls open. So here's what typically happens in the first 10 minutes after you drink properly prepared clove coffee. Minute 0, you swallow. The liquid hits your stomach lining. Caffeine starts getting absorbed almost immediately, but so does eugenol. And here's the part most people don't understand. Your gut has a direct line to your brain. That's the vagus nerve. It's one of the longest nerves in your body, and it carries signals up from your digestive system straight into your brainstem. Around minute 2 to 3, eugenol begins interacting with receptors in your gut lining. These receptors are part of your enteric nervous system, the network that controls digestion, but also influences mood, stress response, and how your body interprets stimulation. When eugenol reaches these sites, it appears to modulate how intensely your gut reacts to the incoming caffeine surge. By minute 5, caffeine is hitting your bloodstream in full force. Normally, this is when the jitters start. Your heart rate climbs. Your hands might start trembling now, but if eugenol is present in sufficient amounts, it seems to buffer that response. Not eliminate it, but smooth the curve. Your system still gets the caffeine, but the sharp spike that usually follows gets softened. Around minutes 7 to 10, something else happens. Eugenol has been shown to influence inflammatory signaling pathways. Caffeine, especially on an empty stomach, can trigger a mild inflammatory response in your gut lining. Eugenol appears to counteract that. It doesn't block caffeine, it just changes the environment caffeine is moving through. And that's why the preparation matters so much. If the clove is whole, eugenol release is minimal. If it's cracked open just before brewing, the oils dissolve into the hot liquid. The timing syncs up. Eugenol and caffeine hit your system together, not separately. That's the difference between a normal cup and one that actually works differently. So what does this actually give you? Here are 3 facts. First, smoother energy. Not necessarily more energy, but energy that doesn't feel like it's fighting your nervous system. You still get the caffeine boost, but without the feeling that your body is in low-level panic mode for the next 2 hours. Second, less of an energy crash. When caffeine wears off, it usually leaves you worse than where you started. Tired, irritable, unfocused. Eugenol doesn't eliminate that drop entirely, but it appears to soften the landing. Your energy level declines more evenly and you don't feel like you're crashing. Third, your stomach doesn't punish you. Coffee on an empty stomach can feel like acid hitting bare tissue. The eugenol seems to reduce that harshness, not by neutralizing the acid, but by calming the inflammatory response your gut would normally trigger. But here's what you need to understand about the risk side. Eugenol is powerful. That's the whole point. But powerful compounds come with limits. If you use too much, or if you use it wrong, it can become harmful instead of helpful. Clove oil, which is concentrated eugenol, has been linked to liver toxicity when consumed in high doses over time. 1 clove in coffee is far below that threshold, but drinking multiple cups with cloves per day or adding drops of pure clove oil can pose a certain risk. Eugenol also affects blood clotting. If you're on blood thinners or if you have a clotting disorder, adding cloves to your coffee regularly could increase bleeding risk. And if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, high doses of eugenol are not recommended. 1 clove occasionally is likely fine. Daily use? That's a conversation for your doctor, not a YouTube video. So here's the preparation. This is the part that makes everything else possible. Take 1 whole clove. Before you add it to your coffee, you need to crack it open. Not grind it, not crush it into powder, just crack it. You can do this with the flat side of a knife, pressing down gently until you hear a small snap. Or use your fingers and apply pressure until the clove splits slightly. This only takes 1 second. What you're doing is breaking the cell walls. Eugenol is stored inside those walls, locked in tiny oil chambers throughout the clove. When the clove is whole, those chambers stay sealed. Hot water can't penetrate deeply enough to extract meaningful amounts of the compound. But when you crack the clove, you rupture those chambers. The oils start leaking out immediately. Now add the cracked clove to your coffee grounds before brewing. If you're using a French press, add it to the grounds. If you're using a drip machine, same thing. If you're doing pour over, drop it in with the grounds. The hot water will pull the eugenol into the liquid as it brews. Don't add the clove after brewing. That's too late. The extraction window is narrow. You want the eugenol and the caffeine to enter the water at the same time during the brewing process so they move through your system together. 1 clove per cup. No more. You're not trying to create a strong clove flavor. You're trying to introduce a functional amount of eugenol into your bloodstream alongside the caffeine. If you do this right, your coffee won't taste like cloves. It'll taste like coffee, maybe with a faint warmth in the background. But what you'll notice is how your body responds differently in the first 10 minutes after you drink it. That's the difference. Not in flavor, but in its function.